I saw the woman standing beside the road at 2:13 in the morning. But when I checked my rearview mirror 3 seconds later, she was suddenly sitting in my back seat. I nearly crashed my truck. Her face was hidden behind wet black hair. She wasn't moving, wasn't breathing, just sitting there silently behind me while rain hammered against the windshield. I slammed the brakes and twisted around. The back seat was empty. I should have kept driving after that, but I didn't. I drive long-distance deliveries through Nevada. Mostly empty highways. Gas stations every 50 miles. Nothing but dirt, darkness, and old road signs half buried in sand. That night, the storm came out of nowhere. Heavy rain, lightning. My GPS kept cutting out. Then I saw her. A woman in a white hoodie, standing beside the road with one arm raised. At first, I drove past her. Nobody stops on those roads anymore. Too many stories, too many disappearances. But something bothered me. She looked terrified, so after a minute, I turned around. When I came back, she was still there, standing perfectly still in the rain. I rolled my window down slightly. "You okay?" She stepped closer slowly. That's when I number. "Ty's something strange." She had no car, no bags, no footprints in the mud around her. "Can you take me to the next town?" she whispered. Her voice sounded weak, almost shaking. I hesitated, but she looked young, early 20s maybe, and the storm was getting worse. So I unlocked the passenger door. The moment she got inside, the temperature dropped hard. I could suddenly see my own breath. She pulled the hood lower over her face. "Thanks," she whispered. I started driving again. For the first few minutes, she said nothing, just stared forward. Then she quietly asked, "Do you ever pick up people often?" I laughed nervously. "Not really." "You shouldn't." Something about the way she said it made my stomach tighten. I glanced toward her. Her clothes were soaking wet, but the seat underneath her was completely dry. That's when I realized something was wrong. I grabbed my phone casually and opened maps. No signal. Then the radio suddenly exploded with static. The woman slowly turned toward me. "You missed the turn." "What turn?" "The one where they died." I felt cold all over. "What are you talking about?" She didn't answer. Lightning flashed outside. For 1 second, her face lit up in the window reflection. Her eyes looked completely black. I jerked the wheel slightly. When I looked again, her head was facing forward normally. Maybe I imagined it. Maybe I was tired. But then, I noticed another problem. We hadn't passed a single car in almost 40 minutes. No lights, no gas stations, nothing. Just endless road. The woman suddenly whispered, "He's still behind us." I checked the mirror immediately. A pair of headlights appeared far back in the storm. At first, I felt relieved. Another driver. But something felt strange. The headlights never moved closer, never farther. Just stayed the exact same distance behind us, for miles. Then my truck engine started making a horrible noise. The dashboard lights flickered. The woman leaned closer. "If the truck stops," she whispered, "don't get out." I looked at her. What the hell is happening? But she ignored me. The headlights behind us suddenly vanished. Gone completely. Then my engine died. The truck rolled to a stop in total darkness. Rain slammed against the windows. I tried restarting the engine. Nothing. Then came 3 slow knocks on the back of the truck. Knock, knock, knock. I froze. The woman grabbed my arm hard. Her hand felt ice cold. "Do not look outside. Do not look outside." Another knock came. Closer this time, right beside my window. I could hear breathing outside. Heavy breathing. Then a man's voice. "Need some roadside help?" Something inside me screamed, not to answer. The woman beside me started shaking. I looked toward her. Tears were running down her face now. "He found me," she whispered. The voice outside laughed softly. "Open the door." I grabbed my flashlight. Against every instinct, I looked out the window. A tall man stood beside the truck, wearing an old highway worker jacket. But his face looked wrong. Like melted skin stretched into a smile. And his eyes, they were too wide open. He slowly lifted one finger and pointed toward the girl beside me. "She left me alone," he whispered. The woman suddenly screamed, "Drive!" The truck engine exploded back to life by itself. I slammed the gas pedal. The tires spun hard through the mud as we flew down the highway. In the mirror, I saw the man standing there smiling. Then he started running after the truck. Not normal running. Fast. Too fast. His body jerked strangely as he chased us through the storm. The woman kept crying beside me. "He killed us here last year," she whispered. I looked at her. Wow. But then I realized something horrifying. Her voice sounded farther away now. I turned fully toward her. The passenger seat was empty. Only rainwater remained on the fabric. I nearly lost control again. The road ahead finally opened toward a gas station. Bright lights, people, safety. I pulled in, shaking violently. An older cashier noticed my condition immediately. "You okay?" I asked him if there had been any accidents nearby. The man went completely silent. Then he slowly nodded. "Last year," he said quietly, "young woman got murdered on Highway 50. Hitchhiker. Killer was never found." My chest tightened. Then he said something worse. "They found the truck driver too." I stared at him. "What driver?" "What driver?" The cashier frowned. "The guy who picked her up. Both bodies were found together." I felt my blood turn cold, because I never told him I was driving a truck. And before I could speak again, 3 slow knocks echoed from outside the gas station window. Knock, knock, knock. The old man waving for help beside the highway had blood all over his hands. But the real horror was sitting quietly in the back seat of his car. I saw it smile at me. At first, I thought it was a dog. Then lightning flashed, and I realized it was a person, or at least something pretending to be one. This happened 2 years ago during a road trip through northern Montana. Middle of nowhere. Forest on both sides of the highway. No towns for miles. It was around midnight when I saw the flashing hazard lights. An old station wagon sat crooked near the trees. The driver's door was open. An older man stood beside the road waving desperately. I almost kept driving, but he looked panicked, so I pulled over. The moment I stepped out, I smelled something rotten, like dead meat left in the sun. The old man rushed toward me. "Please," he said. "My granddaughter is sick. My car died." I looked toward the station wagon. A small figure sat motionless in the back seat, under a blanket. Only the face was visible. Pale skin, big eyes, too still. "How far is the nearest town?" I asked. 20 minutes, he said quickly. "Please help us." Something about him felt off. He kept glancing nervously toward the trees, like he was scared of something out there. I offered to call roadside assistance. No phones. He snapped suddenly. Then he calmed down fast. "No signal here." I checked mine. He was right. Nothing. I should have left then. But the little girl in the back looked sick, so I agreed to help tow the car. The old man seemed relieved immediately. While hooking the chain to my truck, I noticed dark stains along the side of his car. At first, I thought it was mud. Then lightning flashed again. Blood. Lots of it. My stomach tightened. I looked toward him. "You hit an animal?" He froze for half a second, then smiled weakly. "Dear." But something was wrong with that answer. The blood was too high up on the doors. Like someone had dragged bloody hands across the windows. That's when I heard soft tapping from inside the car. I saw tap, tap, tap. The little girl was staring directly at me now, smiling. Not normal smiling. Too wide, too many teeth. I quickly looked away. Maybe exhaustion was messing with my head. I got back into my truck and slowly started towing them down the highway. The entire time, I kept checking my mirrors. The old man sat stiffly behind the wheel. The girl never moved, never blinked. Then suddenly, the station wagon headlights turned on by themselves. I hadn't started their engine. My heart started pounding. Then the radio in my truck filled with static. Under the static, I heard whispering. Children whispering. I turned the volume down fast, but the whispering continued anyway. That's when I noticed something horrifying in the mirror. The girl was no longer in the back seat. I slammed the brakes instinctively. The station wagon jerked behind me. The old man jumped out immediately. "Why did you stop?" he yelled. "Where's your granddaughter?" His face went pale. Then slowly, he looked toward the forest. "Oh no," he whispered. The trees beside the road started moving, branches snapping. Something was coming closer. The old man suddenly grabbed my arm. "We have to leave now." Before I could react, the rear passenger door of my truck creaked open behind me. I turned slowly. The girl sat inside my truck now, still smiling. Rainwater dripped from her hair onto the seats. "How did you?" Then I noticed her eyes. Completely black, no whites, no pupils. J. USD darkness. The old man looked terrified. "She's not my granddaughter," he whispered. My blood froze. "Why?" "I found her walking alone 3 nights ago." The girl tilted her head slowly, her mouth stretched wider, too wide for a human face. Then she spoke in a tiny voice. "You weren't supposed to tell him." Every light around us suddenly went out. Total darkness. I heard footsteps circling the truck. Fast. Crawling sounds. Scratching metal. The old man started crying beside me. "She follows lonely roads," he whispered, "and once she gets inside." A loud bang slammed against the truck roof. The girl in the back seat giggled softly. Then another bang. Something was crawling above us. I grabbed my flashlight and pointed upward through the windshield. A pale face pressed against the glass from outside. Upside down. Upside down. Smiling. Same black eyes. Same grin. But the girl was still sitting in the back seat. I couldn't breathe. There were 2 of them. The creature on the roof started scratching the windshield slowly. Then it whispered my name. I never told them my name. I never told them my name. The old man suddenly screamed, opened my driver door, and ran into the forest. I heard him crashing through branches. Then silence. A few seconds later, one horrible scream echoed through the trees. Then nothing. The girl behind me stopped smiling. "He's gone now," she whispered. I turned slowly toward her. Her jaw started opening wider and wider until it looked broken. Darkness filled her mouth completely. Then the truck engine suddenly restarted. I didn't wait. I floored the gas pedal and sped down the highway. The thing on the roof stayed there the entire time, scratching, laughing softly. I could hear tiny fingers tapping above my head. After almost 15 minutes, I finally saw a gas station. The moment the bright lights hit the truck, the scratching stopped. I jumped out shaking. The roof was empty. Backseat empty too. No girl. No footprints. Nothing. I called the police immediately. They searched the highway all night. They never found the old man or the station wagon. But before I left the gas station, the clerk asked me something strange. He looked nervous. "Did she smile at you?" I stared at him. "What?" The clerk swallowed hard, then pointed toward the road outside. "There's been reports about a little girl on that high. Shui for over 30 years. My chest tightened. Then he quietly added, "People who pick her up usually disappear within a week." That was 2 years ago. Last night, I heard soft tapping on my bedroom window. The voice on the emergency roadside phone knew my name before I even spoke. And the thing answering the calls that night wasn't human anymore. I used to work overnight roadside assistance in Arizona. Dead batteries, quad tires, locked cars. Simple jobs. Most nights were boring until I got the call from Route 87. A woman whispered into the phone, "Please hurry. Someone is following me." Then the line went dead. Dispatch traced the roadside emergency phone near an abandoned stretch of highway outside the desert. No nearby houses, no gas stations, nothing. I was the closest driver, so I headed out alone. The drive took almost 40 minutes. No other cars passed me the entire time. The deeper I drove into the desert, the stranger things became. My GPS kept rerouting. Radio signals vanished. Even the stars seemed hidden behind thick clouds. Then I saw the emergency roadside phone glowing beside the highway, bright red under the moonlight. But there was no woman, no broken car, nothing, just silence. I parked beside the phone station and stepped out. Hot wind blew across the desert. Then the phone started ringing. I froze. Nobody was near it. The ringing continued. Slow, loud. I slowly picked it up. A woman whispered, "You took too long." Static exploded in my ear. Then the line disconnected. I backed away immediately. Something felt horribly wrong. That's when I noticed tire tracks leading off the road into the desert. Fresh tracks. Like a car had swerved hard into the dirt. Against my better judgment, I followed them with my flashlight. About 50 yards out, I found the car, a black SUV, driver door hanging open, engine still running. But no driver, no passengers. The inside smelled awful, rotting. Then my flashlight landed on the back seat. Deep claw marks covered the leather. My chest tightened. I whispered, "Hello?" No answer. Then I heard footsteps crunching behind me. I spun around. Nobody there, but the desert suddenly felt quieter. Too quiet. Even the wind stopped. Then my radio crackled on my belt. Dispatch sounded nervous. "Unit 14, are you alone?" "Yeah." A long pause followed. Then dispatch whispered, "You need to leave now." "What?" "We just got another call from your truck." Cold panic flooded my body. I turned slowly toward the highway. My truck headlights were on in the dashboard. Stunts. And beside the truck, someone was standing there, tall, completely still, watching me. Dispatch kept talking frantically. "The caller keeps repeating your name." The figure near my truck suddenly tilted its head. Then my radio spoke again. But this time, it wasn't dispatch. It was my own voice. "Come back." I started running toward the road. The figure beside my truck disappeared behind it. When I reached the highway, both truck doors were wide open. No one inside, but muddy footprints covered the seats. Long footprints, not human-shaped. My radio hissed again. Then came heavy breathing. I grabbed the mic. "Who is this?" Silence. Then a voice whispered, "Roadside help has arrived." The truck lights suddenly shut off. Darkness swallowed everything. Then I heard movement underneath the truck. Scraping, crawling, something wet, dragging across the pavement. I backed away slowly. A pale hand suddenly slid out from beneath the truck. Long fingers, bent the wrong direction. Then another hand appeared. Then a face. I wish I never saw it. Its skin looked stretched tight over bone. Its eyes were completely white. And its mouth moves. Like it was trying to copy a smile it had seen on humans. The thing crawled halfway out and whispered in my exact voice, "Need help?" I ran. I didn't care where. Straight into the desert. Behind me, I heard it crawling fast across the road. Not walking, crawling. The sound of bones cracking filled the night. Then came more voices. Different voices. Men, women, children, all whispering at once. "Need help? Need help? Need help? Need help?" I tripped hard into the dirt and looked back. There were shapes surrounding the highway now, tall figures standing motionless in the darkness. Dozens of them, all facing me. Then every roadside emergency phone along the highway suddenly began ringing together. The sound echoed across the desert. Hundreds of phones, ringing at once. I couldn't breathe. The crawling creature stopped only a few feet away from me. Then it smiled wider. Then it smiled wider. Its jaw cracked open slowly. Inside its mouth, I saw human teeth. Dozens of different teeth. Dozens of different teeth, like trophies. Then my radio spoke one final time. Dispatch was screaming, "Unit 14, get out of there." Suddenly, bright headlights appeared behind the creatures. A semi-truck speeding down the highway. The figures instantly turned toward it. That distraction saved me. I ran for nearly an hour through the desert until I reached a gas station. Police searched the area before sunrise. They found my truck abandoned beside the emergency phone, doors open, engine running. But they never found the SUV, or the creatures, or the truck driver who passed through that road that night. But the scariest part happened 3 days later. I quit the job immediately, threw away my radio too. But sometimes, late at night, I still hear static coming from my closet. And every single time, a voice using my own voice whispers, "Roadside help is on the way."